start recording here in just a second. Okay, we're on now. So each of you received the agenda, and basically, and I explained this a little earlier, you guys are already doing this in some way, shape, or form. Flipped classroom, the whole idea behind it is, how do you give online material to students basically in the evening, and then the next day answer and work with them to resolve what questions and things that they have that they really didn't understand very well. So you've been doing that in some ways already. Now, does it work much easier probably at the middle school, high school level, because those students they have devices and they can work independently. I totally understand that. At the elementary level, I feel it's a little more difficult, maybe a lot more difficult, especially the K1 and 2 level, for them to work independently and to actually give them an assignment and they're going to complete it. So that's where obviously parent involvement has to be there to really make sure that the students can do the assignments, which I'm sure you guys have run into anyway. So it's a matter of, how do we determine and find the best method of meeting these students' needs while they're not in your classroom? So think of how you could do things maybe differently to meet their needs. Using YouTube, using Khan Academy, videos, that's the number one way that you're reaching these students. And one of the things that I mentioned in here is, let's say you send them a video and it's on rainfall, because that seems to be the prevalent thing right now, right? Storms, rainfall, weather, whatever it is, send them a video on that. But along with the video, have your set of questions with it. As soon as that set of questions goes with the video, directions letting them know, watch the video, and then answer these questions that are age appropriate. You can watch that and do all that through Google Classroom. And you can watch the students even in real time, especially if it's Google Document, watch them actually answer the questions. So you as the teacher can easily hop on and hop off every single student and watch their progress. You can leave comments at any time, either in the document or in Google Classroom. Private comments with the students, very easy to do. Those sort of things are the way I'm thinking this would work probably best. Any questions or suggestions on that? Comments? No? What did you guys feel this session would be about? Let me ask you that. Anyone want to chime in?
Okay. I actually did some research before I signed up, and I learned kind of a little bit like what flipped classroom was, because I had no idea. And so basically what I understand is that you're basically going to, when you present when you're coming to a new, concept in any subject, you're basically going to give the kids the like the assignment first, and then you come back and you meet and you kind of make them responsible for how learning goes, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And that's key right there. And the key concept that I've always read about it and studied is, yes, videos and assignments work together. Basically, you're giving them the information. Then during class time, which would be normal class time, is when you're working with the students to resolve their questions. To where now you basically kind of do a lot of that during the day, right? You're giving the assignment and answering and helping them during the day. You're not going to be able to do that as easily this way. So being able to...
They said that like the main key, the article I read said that the main key point is like finding videos, whether it's from you or not, after you hear what the kids have questions about.
Sure. Very good. So again, this session is really about you guys asking questions and things. I put the material out there that I found, that I've researched, and lots of videos and things that I have on here also that you guys can watch that explains flipped classroom a lot better probably than I can. Really lots of resources on here. I also added then all the information that I had for the remote learning. I don't know how many of you had looked at that. That was off of the district website, but that has many different things about remote learning, how you do it. These are the tools that you can use, things that hopefully will make your job much easier, because again, that's my thing, is hopefully making things easier for you guys. You know, what tools are out there? I try to go through, decipher what I know other teachers are using. I'm on a listserv with people all over the country, and they're always talking about certain subjects. So then I kind of make notes of that and determine, okay, this is what other schools are using. Why are they using it? Would this work in our situation? So every school district's a little unique, as you guys know, but we all have most similarities. So it's a matter of how do we get this issue, remote learning in this case, working maybe in a little different fashion than we're used to doing. One thing I think you've probably all found is, and this has been told many times over, you cannot do a normal lesson doing remote learning at all. I mean, you can't do it. It won't get done. And then your students that are your independent learners compared to your ones that struggle and need that help all the time. So that's really where we're at on this. Again, I tried to have as much resources and things out there for you guys so that you can take the information, use what's useful for you, and move on from there. Any other comments about flipped classroom? Yes.
I'm sorry. My daughters that have all gone through K through 12 in our school district had a handful of teachers that did this throughout their time, and their teachers would post the video teaching the instruction the night prior, and then when they went to class the next day, then the teacher assisted them in going through the problems. But I guess what I was hoping to get today was some help on different ways to make the videos. The only way I know to do that is on my phone.
Okay.
And then I upload them, and I'm sure there's got to be something a little different, but I don't know what that is.
That actually is the session that I'm doing on the videos, Screencastify and Loom and a few other ones. So
okay.
That's what that's going to be about. How do you create your videos? So lots of different methods, free programs out there to do it. And right now, many companies, because one jumps on and says, okay, we've got this stay-at-home order in place. Students aren't going to classes. We need remote learning. They're allowing their programs to be free, which is great. So unlimited. They're adding many different features, and that's what that session that I'll be doing will be about. How to use these tools, what tools are out there, how to use them, and find one that works best for you.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. So yeah, that's an issue for everyone. I want to make videos. How do I make videos? So I'm trying to pull these different sessions together that work together. And a lot of it obviously is dealing with this remote learning and how can we make it better, and Jackie, just you mentioning that is great, because that's what I'm looking for. What is it you guys are looking for? What do you feel you're missing? How can we make this, a more comfortable situation that you can reach your students? So,
well, to tag on to that real quick, not to monopolize, but to tag on to that, not just how to make the videos. The other thing is, functioning wise, I can't hold my iPhone while I'm doing the math problem, trying to teach it and So I need a device that would allow us to do this from home a little better too.
You could use your Chromebook. So do you have a Chromebook?
Yeah, but you can actually write on the.
Well, I let her stand in her shower and use her shower in a dry erase board. You can do that, Jackie.
Yeah, well, I wasn't real comfortable with that.
I've seen people do it on the dishwasher too, like in your kitchen.
Oh, that's funny.
That's what I was just functioning wise having a difficult time with finding a place to put my phone so I could show what I was doing at the same time. And I don't always have someone around the house to hold it for me and be my videographer. So
Right.
Just like we're
I used a Lego table.
there you go.
all right.
Just like we're doing now though, guys, there's programs out there that'll allow you then to present a different screen. And then, I mean, it's built into Google Meet. I can show you another tab I could bring up that is a blank screen that you can write on, and you'll be presenting that to your students at the same time that you're doing your video. So
Yeah. I've actually used the Word document as a white sheet, and then I just type. And then I have the kids read the vocabulary words or whatever I have there. Another thing is I actually was able to share a YouTube video because he couldn't get into Class Dojo and he needed to watch a video, and his mom didn't know how to get in. So he watched the video through my phone, through my share screen. That was kind of neat.
great. Another great idea. So, you know, the tools are out there. Just ask me. I will find out. I don't know the answers always, that's for sure, but I will look and I'll find out what's out there. I definitely know that the tools, whiteboards are out there that you can use. It's easy then to scribble, to write, to type, to draw. You can do all those things with the tools that are already out there. One of those that I'm doing a session on is Promethean Class Flow. So that's the one where you can use a virtual whiteboard. You can import your flip chart. You can do all sorts of things in this program, sending assignments out. It also integrates with Google Classroom. So if you're used to using Promethean, Active Inspire, and creating flip charts and using it at all, the online version, which is Class Flow, has all those features and more. The only thing it doesn't do, you cannot create flip charts in the program. You basically, though, can go to the marketplace and you can search for anything you want. And teachers have already created all these different lessons, flip charts, and so on. And you just pick the ones you want and take it. Pretty much everything's free. So
What's Marketplace?
Marketplace is just a Promethean location where teachers upload projects,
Okay.
things that they've created. Actually, any of you can do that. Not asking you to do a second job, but if you are really proud of your work, and if it's a flip chart, it's a lesson, whatever, you can actually upload it to Promethean and you can get paid for it. Of course, you have to put a price on it. They have to approve it, and so on and so forth, but not something I see a lot of people doing, but it is out there. So that will be something that I will discuss. The thing is, guys, if you can't make any of these sessions and such, it's okay. We will have many more. This is just a preliminary. I put this together the best I can. It's not perfect, nowhere near perfect. But we're going to learn as we go through this. We're going to add more things to it. Your input, what you guys know is what's important, because now we can take that information, put it together, and help each other, because that's the only way we're going to really do this very well. Okay.
Just a quick question for for the flipped classroom, like resources, things that cost money. Like if we find resources out there, like how do we go about like asking if we have a district code, or how to, how to request that maybe, you know, there's so many people in the district using it that maybe it would be beneficial.
I mean, a lot of that, like that, Stephanie, you can send me an email, let me know what it is, and I'll check it out. Absolutely. Let me check it out, and then I can ask about, you know, it's going to depend on demand, obviously, where we're at. What is it you're looking for? One of the things that I do all the time is if there's a request for a program and it costs money, is there an equivalent that doesn't cost money that everyone can use? Sometimes there is, and many times there is. So I do the research, I determine, okay, this will work, and whoever requests it, let's say you request something, I'll work with you to make sure that maybe an alternative program will meet your needs. And if it doesn't, then we go to the next step. You know, being a district the size we are, we want to make sure that we're consistent on the tools we're using. It's great that you find things, and that's awesome. But we also need you guys to kind of be on the same page, right? So that we're working together and we know this is the go-to program. Because frankly, there's too many things out there, and some are good, some are bad. So let's try to focus on what we know works and stay with that. And if something comes around that's better, sure.
I don't think a lot, like just from like our meetings and our PLCs, I don't think a lot of people know that like we can come to you and say, hey, I found this really great resource, because even going to like our PLCs or like a, you know, an entire building meeting, like you hear about like people using different things and you're like, oh, I've used that and I paid for that this year. So then I just started to wonder like, oh my God, how many people are paying for this? Would it be cheaper if we got like a district, you know, I don't know, license?
A lot of programs actually that we have gone that route where multiple people have suggested a specific program. IXL is one of those. There's a few others out there that the demand was out there, and we looked into it and researched it and made it a district-wide program in some cases. So
do you think general ed will get IXL, or do you think it will stay special ed?
I'm not sure on where IXL is going right now. I know for a fact that IXL will be renewed for the middle school. What many of you may not know, and again, this is not probably on the agenda or anything else, but that's fine. We're looking at Renaissance Learning, and we've actually purchased Renaissance Learning and many of their features. So there'll be a lot more of that information coming out and trainings on that. So there's multiple programs that are built into that, and it's an excellent program. So
is there a training on that?
There will be.
Oh.
There will be, yeah. So I still plan on having trainings, not just myself, but I have 2 other people involved for trainings, depending on the grade level, later in June, sometime in June, and I will definitely do trainings end of July. We just don't know what the next year is going to look like, so we don't know exactly what kind of trainings we're going to need and be involved with. So it's really where we're at right now, but there will be multiple trainings. All you guys have to do is ask. Okay, that's the main thing. What is it you want? What do you feel will make you more comfortable? And we'll put it together. I mean, that's what I do. And I'll find other resources again besides myself, because I definitely don't know it, know everything, and not even close. But I'll learn the best I can to at least find the people and the resources out there. So kind of like really what we did here with this flipped classroom and remote learning that we're doing here today. What is out there? What can you guys use? And we really go from there. Okay. Anybody else have something to add to this? Oh, well, okay. Ginger, great question. YouTube channel, That's one thing I will definitely do. Of anything that you guys can come up with, this group today, that you feel you would like some training on, please send me an email. Let me know. One thing that I had a response from many people was Google Forms, because Google Forms you can use in Google Classroom. You can create it as a locked quiz. There's many things you can do with forms. If you're not using forms, I'd highly recommend you look into it, and I will be more than happy to have trainings on that. I've been doing those for quite a few years. But creating your own YouTube channel, there's some steps to it. Not like it's very intuitive, but I can definitely show you guys how to do that. Uploading can be a little tricky, things like that. How do you upload and so on. So everything has little gotchas, especially something brand new. But Google Forms and YouTube, I think those are some that will definitely help you guys, because then it's out there for you guys, and you can make it private. You can, just like a document, you can make it public to the world. You can make it only available to people in our district, however you want, just like a document that you would share, like a Google Doc and so on. All right.
What about making things interactive? Like, I know, for 5th grade, I taught myself how to, download it and then add the text boxes so they could type, and then how to, make it and all of that. I was just curious if there was like an easier tool out there. I was just finding with a lot of things, it was taking so long to make our resources interactive.
Okay. Well, again, ClassFlow will have some of those things already there that you can find. You can use resources the teachers have already created. Powtoon, have you ever used that? Powtoon. Check it out.
What was it?
Powtoon. Powtoon. Maybe NS, I'm not sure. That's an interactive program for younger students. That allows you to create things.
So I guess I understand the concept of the flipped classroom when you're having on-site learning and all the kids are there. But looking to the fall, we don't know if it's going to be back to remote learning, if it's going to be this hybrid model where we have half of the students. There's been absolutely no guidelines yet from ISBE, but of course, if you look at other countries and states, you can get a clue of what might be coming. So when I jumped on Zoom meetings that teachers were having, we really focused just on the social emotional piece right now. So it was just a lot of, I was even guilty. Ashley has a picture. We all showed our cat, and, everyone had a cat that day. And, a lot of just talking to each other kind of thing. If you guys tried to actually teach a lesson or answer the academic questions on Zoom, because I feel like that's kind of a challenge. So if you do this flipped classroom and you present the lesson, do you think you would invite your whole class to a Zoom session to answer questions? I'm envisioning maybe like groups of 5 and schedule them every 15 minutes to just answer questions. What do you guys think it would be the best format to combine this flipped classroom with this possible remote hybrid model?
Yeah.
So we did it in leveled math groups. I don't know if that would be an option for you. So we did, we have 4 different groups in our room. So it was like high, medium, low, medium, and then low. So we did it that way. It was easier just because I guess the questions were, pretty similar for everybody.
Right.
I will say though, timing is the issue. It just takes a long time, and you don't want to be like, oh, sorry, I have 15 minutes and we're on minute 14. I've got to get to the next class. That's what we were finding difficult. And just to fit everything in, as far as like planning, making everything interactive, making things engaging, finding new websites, you know, meeting with the kids, you know, on most of the Zooms, I don't know about you guys, but we were trying to do games like scavenger hunts. We did a guess who, you know, I put together, like everybody sent me like a Bitmoji and I did like a guess who. I did, you know, like categories. But like you were saying, it's all social emotional stuff. So when we actually have to start taking grades, I totally am concerned because I've never worked the hours that I worked this year. And you're 14 teacher. Like I can't imagine first year teachers.
Yeah, if you have, you know, like, you know, your medium level group from 9 to 9:20 or whatever, what about the kid that's at grandma's house and grandma doesn't have access at 9 o'clock? How do we?
And another thing is if I had a class of 20 and only the highest group I ever had was 8 kids. So what happens when you don't have 6 kids that ever join your group? How do you manage that? What do you do with those 8 kids that you never have join a Zoom?
And I'm wondering, Michelle, if a little piece of that was just the devices and the connectivity, which I know the district is working super hard on a plan for that. So we can help fix that, some of that, but we can't fix their grandma's house that day.
No, yeah.
And especially if we go to like the partial learning where you're going to go to school 3 days a week or 2 days a week, the other 2 days, I mean, the parents are going to have something to do for their kids, whether that's they're by themselves and then they're just not going to get on, or they're at grandma's or aunt's or whatever. Well, and I was doing a lot of that too, but I wonder if, you know, recording the videos would also help.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, like, because then they could get on when they wanted. And that's what we were finding. Like, my special ed teacher was really great about that. And she would record the math videos so that especially the lower kids could get on and do. Because I was finding that, you know, the groups that I had, most of my kids joined. Good. I mean, a huge chunk of them, you know. But then again, you're talking about the higher kids that are higher academically functioning, that probably have, you know, like, you know, support at home. But if they don't, then you're finding those kids are continuously not getting on, not turning in work, not participating. You know, those are the moms that like you call and they're like, I got bigger worries on my plate than school. Can you call next week? You know, like different things like that. So I hope that videos would help, but I don't think it's going to help 100%.
Well, and kind of back to what you just said, Stephanie, with, you know, if they go 3 days, so flipped classroom, would that be like the days they're with you, you give them the assignment, or you give them the assignment then, and then when they're with you, could you then go over the assignment, give them the videos and things like that? That, in my mind, that was flipped classroom. Yeah. You know, when they're with you, you're giving the assignment, then they're not with you. They're actually doing those things. They come back, you discuss. Is that
the logistics of that? It stresses me out because, like, attendance, you know, right. Like a kid misses a Monday and then they have zero idea what to do on a Tuesday. And I mean, God forbid they're sick on Wednesday. I mean, they've missed basically an entire week.
However,
how do you go back and catch them up when you have remote learning, in-class learning? Like, I don't know about anybody else, but remote learning, and maybe just because it's the first time, but it's a lot more planning than if you were just face-to-face. I mean, a lot more, in my opinion.
Well, one of the things that I'm leaning on as far as remote learning is definitely just keeping my videos to Google Meets, because I was going to, Zoom and all that. And my kids couldn't get into Zoom. So what I like about Google Meets, it goes straight to my drive. And then all I have to do is rename the video. And then it just, it's all there. So I just kind of chucked Zoom altogether and just stay with Google Meets, because when it saves right into my drive.
Yeah, and if you're using Zoom on a Chromebook, there's like no way right now to record the videos.
Oh,
what do you mean?
We did.
Yeah.
We had to record our reward day, or like our end of the year rewards. So we recorded it. I don't know.
I don't know. When I use it on my Chromebook, I don't have the option to like send it to the cloud or anything.
Look
You
for an
just have to
extension,
save
John.
it as you have to save it as something different. An
Mhm.
MP4, I think, is how you save it. And then you send it you just have to save it differently.
Yeah, there is an extension for that also. So you can
Okay.
add to Google Chrome specifically. You can actually even add it into your calendar. There's an extension for Zoom on Google Calendar that you can create your meetings if you like Zoom more than Meet through Google Calendar. So
Yeah, that's a problem. The Zoom things, I can never find them and find the links. So I would like information from you on how I put that on my calendar, because the Google Hangouts go directly to my calendar and they're there. Zoom, I'm all over the place trying to figure out where I'm supposed to be.
yeah, find what works for you guys. You know, that's the best thing. I'm not going to say use this, don't use this, whatever. What works best for you? I'm using Meet only because it's so much easier for me to do the recordings, to be able to, in this case, I can see everybody at the same time, 16 people at the same time, or you can get an extension that shows up to hundreds of people at the same time. So there's extensions and things out there that will make each one of them, whether it's Zoom or Meet, look like the other. Someone's created it. But again, what are you most familiar with? I know that the settings for like Google Meet now will be good until at least the end of September. I have a feeling they're going to extend that and make it basically free for up to 250 people or much longer, depending on, you know, the situation we're in. So companies are working with us, working with everyone because they want our business, right? And they want you to use it later. So right now there's a lot of great features out there that are free, and hopefully they'll stay that way. If not, then we look into, as a district, what platform are we really using? How are we going to move forward with it and what works? So.
Did anybody have any trouble though with audio? Like we did both Zoom and Google Meets, and I just feel like some of the audio was just awful. Like, and even when we meet with like Dr. Skirtich sometimes, I don't know if it's my internet, but I've tried it in different places. So I guess how do you make it to where you can like understand what everybody's saying and it doesn't sound like a CD that has a horrible scratch on it?
The number one issue, Stephanie, is really the device being used and background noise. So that's what I found. Chromebooks do not have a very good camera. They're okay. To really do this well, you need a standalone camera. Whether it's a $20, $30, whatever camera that's out there, those work the best. Now, I'm not asking anyone to go out and buy one, but they do work just so much better because you can plug them in and the audio and video is just much clearer. Hopefully mine's pretty clear. I've got a Logitech, which I paid like $60 for, and I use it all the time, but the audio and video, it seems to come through fairly well, and I've had no issues with it. You know, and again, that's just an option out there for you.
Do you feel like if we stay on remote learning that the district will be offering things such as that? Like, you know, perhaps a camera, perhaps
That's something,
I don't know, reimbursement for like better internet. Like
right,
I already pay a crazy ton for internet, but I know it's probably not the best.
Well, and Dr. Skirtich, I think, has been great about everything, you know, meeting our needs as we do. So that's something I can definitely bring up to him and see if we're looking into that, what we can do. You know, I don't know at this time, but it never hurts to ask and see what we can do at that point. Okay. Okay. All right. You guys had a great discussion. I really appreciate it. Any other comments or anything? I can start looking at the comments and answering those. Let me see here. All right, Ginger, I already answered yours a little bit about YouTube channel techniques on recording, so you know a little bit about that. Tara mentioned Brain Pop videos for students to watch during remote learning. Great idea. Brain Pop has some excellent things. They're always coming up with relevant information too. I noticed the other day they had something specifically about remote learning and how that would work and actually the virus and how it got started. So in terms that are very easy for students. So those videos are out there. You know, to me, YouTube is still probably your best friend, especially at your age level that you're teaching. YouTube for Kids is an entirely different channel. So if you do YouTube for Kids and search for that, it'll be a totally different channel than normal YouTube also. So keep that in mind if you've never used that as a resource. So it'll narrow down your resources and they won't be of the older ages, obviously, and more appropriate, you would hope. Tara says, I found not doing whole group was easier when it came to actually talking about lessons. So absolutely. You know as well as I do that the attention span of the younger students is going to be less than older students. It's going to be even less on remote learning. I mean, you probably can't do more than a 2 to 3 minute video and keep them really engaged. So your lessons have to be shorter. There's just no way to get around that. So don't expect to finish obviously what you normally would. It's not going to happen. You guys know that, and you found that out, I'm sure, rather quickly. Yeah, and remote learning is a lot more work. Believe me, just me doing this, the scheduling, the preparing, everything is, it's a lot more than I expected. So I was up till quite a bit last night. I start about 6 in the morning and I'm working till 8, 9 o'clock, just making sure things are halfway in order, because just sending out and creating the Google Meets and then making sure I'm getting the right attendance and sending the right recordings and everything to everyone. It's a lot more than I expected, but we'll get through it. You get better as you do it, and you do the best you can, guys. That's it. You do the best you can, and no one's going to fault you for something that didn't work out right. We all know that. Julie, you mentioned something about Seesaw for K1. I'm familiar with Seesaw. I don't know about for K1 specifically.
Okay.
But
I'm on some like principal Facebook pages, and I mean it's like 95% or more are pushing Seesaw for K1 and then Google Classroom for 2 and up. So it's really starting to intrigue me because it's amazing when people, the question's been posed 5 or 6 different times and there'll be over 100 responses and it's just Seesaw, 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 K1. So
absolutely.
Didn't know in a little bit. I tried to YouTube it a little bit, but apparently it's just a lot easier for the littles. Okay.
Very good. No, I'll definitely look into that.
Thanks, Mike.
You're very welcome. Oh, we're all talking about Stephanie in Florida, it looks like here too.
Lord, we're all going there.
Give me a few weeks, I'll be down there. So that's great. Yeah, National Geographic videos for science, wonderful. National Geographic for Kids is another excellent resource. Many things that they have.
Do you know if we're getting the science and social studies pieces of Renaissance Suite?
Not at this time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that would be a great remote learning resource too.
The reading and math, which is the Freckle, which is a whole new piece, which is phenomenal. And yeah, of course, going to the reading again, you'll remember that. So.
And then with the Freckle, I think there's a premium and a free. Are we getting the premium version?
Yes.
Okay.
And And just to let you know, even if you went to Freckle now and you started an account, they would then roll it into anything that you've done into the district. You won't lose anything is my point.
Good
Because
to know.
we have some teachers that have delved into it somewhat to try to learn about it, but anything they've done, their data will be transported into the district. So
Oh, good to know.
they've been great to work with. Okay, Seesaw, yeah. Screencastify works really well. There's also a Screencastify in addition to that I just signed up for, and basically you can push out assignments through it. So a few more things out there that I'll be getting more information out for everybody as we go, as we learn more things. Heidi likes Freckle. Great. Good to hear, because we're going to be doing it. We're going to learn a lot about Freckle, and of course all the reading materials too. So very good. No, I hopefully this has been helpful for all of you. If nothing else, we were able to discuss some things, get some ideas. Hopefully you're more comfortable with the idea of remote learning and what we're going to do. You're not going to be totally comfortable with it. No one is. It's still going to be a struggle, especially reaching those students. We know that. You know, a lot of the students that you had trouble reaching before, probably the same ones you're going to have trouble with now. That's kind of the way it is. So all we can do is help our parents as much as we can to help the children at home. You know, I don't know what else to say about this, but do the best you can and plow forward, because that's all we can do at this point, right? So any other questions or anything? Great. I really enjoy this. This was actually, for me, this was a lot of fun, because Julie and everybody, you really brought a discussion together, because there's no way I could be talking this whole time. And I really enjoyed it very much. So thank you all very much. I will be sending out the evaluation in the CPDUs. And please, if you have anything further, ask me, ask anyone that was on this training today. And we'll work together to come up with as much information as we can to help each other. Okay?
Thanks, Mike.
You're welcome. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
You're welcome.